Hello, everyone. I'm Frank, and welcome to episode 20 of Learn How to Sudoku, where we take very easy variant Sudokus and break them down into great detail so that you can learn how to Sudoku. And today's puzzle is called Foga del Rio by Megan33, a favorite on this channel. And here are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply, which means place the digits 1 through 9 once each in every row, column, and box. Digits along a magenta renban form a set of consecutive, non-repeating digits in any order. So, for example, if you knew there was a 9 on one of these magenta's cells, you would know the rest of the line would have to contain 8, 7, and 6 because that's the only set of 4 digits that can contain a continuous set of digits including 9, right? 6, 7, 8, and 9 is the only way you could have a continuous set of 4 digits with a 9. So you would have to have a 6, 7, or 8 also along that magenta line if you knew this digit was a 9. And again, you cannot have repeats on the Renban, but I don't know if there's another Renban in the fog somewhere to have that rule be in place. And that's how Renban lines work. The digits along each arrow must sum to the digit in the circle cell. Arrows cross in a straight line, so therefore this is a specific arrow, and it crosses just this way, it goes that way. And this is an arrow which goes specifically that way. So an example that would work for this arrow, we're going to say this arrow, is this could be 2 and 5, and this would have to be then 7, because these two digits along the arrow must sum up to what's in the circled cell that it's attached to. And that's how arrows work. A black dot between cells indicates cell values with a 2-to-1 ratio. A white dot between cells indicates cells with consecutive values. Not all dots are given. So these are called crop key dots, and this is a very normal rule set. For black cells, they indicates black cells in between cells. Sorry, black dots in between cells indicates that there's a 1-to-2 ratio between the cells. So if this were a 2, this would have to be a 1 or 4 to maintain the 1-to-2 ratio. And if there was a white dot separating two cells, those two cells would have to be consecutive. So say this was a white dot on this line here. If this were a 6, this would have to be a 5 or 7 to make sure that the two cells between the two cells that the white dot is in between are consecutive. And that's how crop key dots work. Cells filled with an odd circle. For some reason, I'm mixing words up. Cells with a filled circle must be odd. So this is a filled circle, therefore it must be odd. That's pretty straightforward. The grid is partially covered with fog. Correctly placed digits will clear the fog around that cell, and no guessing is required. So basically, as you conclude that certain cells must be a certain number, if you get it right, it will clear the surrounding 9 cells, including itself. And you do not actually, you can logic all of this out just from the clues that are given. So you don't have to randomly guess. And in fact, randomly guessing sort of defeats the purpose of Fog of War puzzles. So I'm not sure why you would want to do it. If it floats your boat, go for it, man. But it's not required in this puzzle. Adjacent digits along a green German whisper line must have a difference of at least 5. So say we had a German whisper line like this or something. Adjacent digits along it must have a difference of at least 5. So for example, if this were a 3, this would have to be an 8 or a 9 to satisfy the German whisper rule, because adjacent digits must have a difference, again, of at least 5 between them. And those are all the rules. If you like to play along, there's going to be a link in the description. And now, I'm going to get started. Let's learn how to Sudoku. Okay. So these two digits must add up to what that digit is. Okay. This is an odd digit. So this must be 1, 3, 5, or 7. This is in a 1 to 2 ratio with another digit. If this were 2, this cannot be 1, right? Because if this is 1, the 1 requires on a Ramban 2, 3, and 4, which is not valid in that case, because this would be 2. So this can never be 1. Again, this, okay, so you could have 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. And this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, right? If this is 2 and this is 1, if this is 2, the rest of the Renban would have to be 3, 4, and 5, because 1 would be here, assuming this is 1 and 2. Even so, say this was 2 and this was 4. That's not allowed because the other numbers on the Renban would have to be at least 3 and 4 with 1, or it could be 3 and 4 with 5. Either way, 4 can't be here if that's the case. Therefore, if this is 2, this would have to be 1, which would mean that the other digits on the Renban would be 3, 4, and 5. Well, this can't be 1, and it can't be 3, 4, 5, so this would have to be 7. But this can't be 1 through 5, so this is at minimum 6. And then you would have to have 6 plus 7, which adds up to 13. Therefore, we know this can never be 2. Because it can't be 1, 2, and then it can't be 2 and 4 specifically. Let's see. If this is 3, this would have to be 6. I think that works, right? It could be, well, maybe not. Hold on. So what if this is 3 and this is 6? What do the other numbers on the Renban have to be? It's either 1, 2, and 4 to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or it's 2, 4, and 5 to make 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if this is 3, this is 6, this would have to have a 2 and a 4. It could be 5 or it could be 1 with it. Either way, this can't be 3. If this were 2, 3, 4, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, this would have to be at minimum 5, and therefore you would have 5 and 6 adding up to a digit, which is not allowed because that would be 11. So it cannot be specifically 1, 2, 3, 4 in this Renban. So it would have to be 2, 4, and 5 in this Renban. This would be 3. This would be 6. Now what happens there? If this is 2, 3, 4, and 5, that's not allowed in this cell. So this could be a 1. So that would be fine. What else can it be? It would have to be a 1. So this would be 1. This would be 6. This would have to be 7. But we already have a 3 and a 5 then on this Renban, which eliminates 5 and 7 there, or 3 and 5 there. And if that's a 1, this would have to be 7 because this is 6, and that would eliminate 1 or 7 there. So this cell would not have any possibilities because 9 cannot be on here, because 9 can never be in a normal Sudoku with arrows that are 2 in length. 9 can never be on an arrow, right? Because what can 9 add up to with another digit to form another digit? It would be 0, right? 9 and 0 adds up to 9. but we don't, 0 is not a normal Sudoku digit. Therefore, that can't be 9 then. So therefore, this can't be 3 because we've just shown that 3, and if there's 3 here, that just doesn't work. So this can't be 3, which means this can't be 6. What happens if this is a 4 and this is a 2? If this is 4 and 2, the Renban has to be 3, 4, 5, or 6, or 4, 5, 6, and 7. That seems possible. So say you have 4 and 2. If you have 3, 4, 5, and 6 here, that means this has to be at minimum 1, or it could be the next digit is 7. That works, actually. So this could be, if this is 4, this is 2. This could be 7, and then this could be 1. 1 cannot be here because that would be 2 and 1 adding up to 3. And we know we basically assumed 3 was on this Renban in that case. And then so that works. Right. So if this is 4, this is 2, this would have to be 7, and this would be 1, this would be 8, this would be 9, and 3, 5, and 6 can work on the Renban. So that works. What about 4 with 5, 6, 7? Then this is 1 or 3. It cannot be 8, and it cannot be 9. But if it's 1 here and 2 here, that adds up to 3, which is not a lot. Actually, it could be. Well, except that, okay, 4, 5, 6, 7. That eliminates 5 and 7 here. So this is 1 or 3, and this is 1 or 3. But that adds up to 4, which is not allowed. So 4 only works with 2 if this is 3, 5, and 6. And that works fine. Okay. If this is 6, this has to be 3. So the possibilities on this Renban are... It could be 6, 7, 8, and 9 on this Renban. So this would be 6, 3. This would have to be 1 or 5. 2 can never be one of these 2 digits because it requires 2 unique digits adding up to it. So then 2 would have to be 1, and 1 could not be one of these unique digits. So if this is 6, 7, 8, and 9 in this Renban, actually, any Renban, right? So say this was 6, 7, 8, and 9. You would have to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 along in these arrows and circles, right? How does that work? You could have... Well, okay, so if... If you have 6, 7, 8, 9, and you have this being the 6, this would have to be 3. You would also, these could not be 1 or 2, so this would have to be 1 and 2 in that situation. So this would be 2, then this would be 1, because those are the only possibilities there. Because this can only be 1 because of the filled circle, because it's odd. Therefore, these 2 would add up to 5. That works fine. But this is 2 and 1, and that would add up to 3, and we already have the 3 there. So 6 with 7, 8, and 9 is not allowed here. What about 8 with 6, 7, and 9 in these spots? Well, this would be 8. This would be 6, 7, and 9, so you can't have 6 through 9 in the rest of the box. This would have to be a 4. So you have 4 with 1 adds up to 5, and 1 and 2 adds up to 3, and that actually does work. Oh, wait, but this is 1, so this can never be 2 in that case. And that would fail there too. Right? Because if this is 4, that's 1 to add up to 5. But then this can't be 2 because of the filled circle. So therefore, this would have to be 2, and that would be 3, but 1 and 3 do not add up to 2. Yeah, so 9 can never be on this Renban then. We've just shown it, right? We tried it with 6, and that breaks. And we tried it with 8, and that breaks the puzzle too. So 9 does have to be one of these two cells. Okay. We tried 4 working. So, okay, what about if we have 6? We tried it with 6 through 9, and that doesn't work. If it's 5 through 8 on the Renban, it could be 5 through 8, 4 through 7, also on the Renban with the 6. It cannot be 3 through 6 because we know this is 6 and 3 has to be a 1-2 ratio. So we could try it. This seems really just trial and error. I don't really like doing that, but sometimes that's what you have to do. Anyways, let's try that. 6 and 3 with 5, 7, and 8. This can't be 5, 7, or 3, so this is 1. We know 2 can never be one of those two cells. So, okay. Right, so this is 3 and this is 2. That adds up to 5. And this is 2 and 1. That adds up to 3, which breaks this cell, because one of them must be 9 also. So 5, 6, 7, 8 doesn't work. What about 4, 5, 6, 7? Again, you have to have a 1 and a 2 somewhere. They cannot be in these cells. Therefore, the 1 has to be there and the 2 has to be there to make that work, which means this is 1, 2. That adds up to 3. But again, 6 forces the 3 to be there for the 1 to 2 ratio between the black Kropke dots. So 4, 5, 6, 7 doesn't work also because of the same logic, because we need 1 and 2 somewhere. These can't be 2. Therefore, this becomes 1 and 2 in that situation. And that breaks the logic. So this can never be 6 then from that. This can't be 6, which means this can't be 3. We know now. Okay, well. So what about if this is 8? If this is 8, this has to be a 4. 8 can never be with a Renban on with 1 and 2. So where's the 1 and 2? This has to be 1, and this would have to be 2. But then you'd have 4 plus 2 adding up to 6, and 1 plus 2 adding up to 3. And this Renban then wouldn't work. Therefore, we've shown that 8 can never be with 4 here. So this can't be 8. This has to be a 4, and it's with 2 or 8. Now, let's see if 8 works, right? If we have 4, and this is 8, this would have to be 1. So that makes this 9. The problem is, where is the 2? The 2 would have to be on the Renban, and therefore this would have to be... Actually, that does work. Huh. Interesting. So if this is 2, how does that fit, right? 1 has to be one of these two numbers. I think it specifically has to be 2, 7, 1, right? Right, because it was 3, 5, 6, and then we tried 5, 6, 7. If we tried 5, 6, 7, the problem is 9 has to be one of these two. 2 can't be with 8 to add up to anything. So 8 would have to be one of these, but then the problem is 4 through 7 is already taken, so this would have to be 3 and 1, and this would be 3 and 1 adding up to 4, which is not allowed. Right, so this would be then, in that case, it's specifically 3, 5, or 6. This would have to be 7, and this would be 1, right? So this would be 2, 7 adding up to 8. This would be, 2, 7 adding up to 9, and 1, 7 adding up to 8, if this were 2. Now, if this is 8, it has to be with 1 to make that a 9. So either way, this is a 9. You have 8 and 1. This is an odd number. So it could, wait, 8 and 1. How does that work? It cannot be 7 and 1 here, right? If this is 7 and 1, this would also be 8, which is not allowed here. So we tried 8 and 1. Where is the 2? The 2 has to be on this red band. So 2, 3, 4, 5. But then that forces this to be 6, which it cannot be because it is an odd digit because of the filled circle. Therefore, 8 does not work. This has to be then 2, 7, 1. That makes this 8 and this 9. Okay. This is also odd. So therefore, this is consecutive with that, and it must be even. Let's go to the German whisper line. So for German whisper lines, you always alternate between not odd, low digits and high digits, right? Because 1 through 4, what digits can be next to a 1 through 4? Well, the minimum would be a 1 with a difference of 5, which would be 6. So it has to be 6 or above to be next to a 1 through 4. Well, if you have a 6 and above, what can be next to that on a German whisper line? You take the highest digit, which is 9, subtract 5 from it, and that leaves 4 and below, which can be next to a 6 through a 9. So as I said, it alternates between low digit and high digit, right? And it will always alternate between low and high between there. So whatever this, and we know this has 3 lows here in row 6. So let's alternate between lows and highs. We're going to just make them a random. We don't know what the sets are right now. So we're going to make them yellow and orange. If this is yellow, this has to be an orange, right? Because it alternates between the sets. So that makes this yellow, which makes this orange. That has to be yellow. This has to be orange. And this has to be the same set as this one. Well, if these were both low, the problem is you would have 5 lows in row 6 then. And you only have 4 digits. So that's not allowed. You can't. How do you fill 5 cells with 4 digits? You can't. So we know the yellows have to be the highs, and the oranges have to be the lows. So this is 1 through 4. This is 1 through 4. This has 2 unique numbers in between them. That it is in between. Oh wait, can't be 4 anyway. So this is 1, 2, or 3. This is a high, but it's between 2 unique digits. Also, okay. Right. This is between 2 unique digits on a German whisper line. So 6 can only be next to 1 unique digit on a German whisper line. Therefore, this must be 7, 8, or 9, but the 8 is not allowed because of that 8. So this is 7 or 9. Similarly, this has to be 7, 8, or 9, but this 9 is not allowed. Therefore, this is 7 or 8. 4 cannot be here because they can only be next to a 9 on a German whisper line. So this can't be 4. These are 2 consecutive digits that add up to another digit. So this is either 1, 2, 2 and 3. So if it's 2 and 1, this must be 3. If it's 2 and 3, it must be 5. And if it's 3 and 4, it must be 7. but it cannot be 4 and 5 because then that would force this to be 9, which is not allowed here because of this 9. So it could be 1, 2, which adds up to 3, 2, 3 adding up to 5, or 3, 4 adding up to 7. Now this is consecutive with this digit. If it's 3, this would have to be 2 or 4, and then this would have to be 1 or 5. But the problem is 5 can never be on a German whisper line. So this can't be 5, which means this can't be 4, which means this can't be 3. So this cannot be 3. This can't be 1 then. If it's 5, this could go to 6. It can't be down to 4, because if it goes down to 4, then this would have to be a 3, but we know this is a high digit. So if it's 5, it could go to 6, which could go to 7. If it's 7, it could go to 8, which would go to 9. It cannot go down to 6, because then this would be 5. And again, 5 can't be on a German whisper line, because 5 is 5 away from 0 and less, which is not a normal Sudoku digit, and 10 or higher, which is not a digit. So therefore, this has to be 7 or 9. We don't know anything about this. This is odd, so this is 1, 3, 5, or 9. Oh, and this has to have a 3, right? Because it's either 2 and 3 added together, which adds up to 5, or it's 3 and 4 added together, which adds up to 7. This is 1, 3, 5, or 9, which means this must be 2, 4, 6, or 8, but it's actually 2, 6, or 8 because the 4 is here. We know this is 3, so this cannot be a 3. So this could be 1 or 2, 5 or 6, or 9 or 8. All of those work. This has to be 6, 7, 8, or 9. This can't be 8 or 9. So it could be anything from 3 through 7. But again, if this is 3, this would have to be 4 at most, which would mean this is 5 at most, which is not possible. So this cannot be 3. If this is 4, this has to be 1 and 3, but we already know the 3 is here, so this cannot have a 3, so therefore this can't be 4. So this is also 5, 6, or 7. Again, you cannot go down, because if it goes down from 5 to 4, that would have to be 3, but we know this is a high digit. Similarly, if this is 7 going down, 7, 6, this would be a 5, which is not allowed. So it always goes up. So this could be 5 to 6 to 7, or this is 6 to 7, but the problem is 7 can never be there. Therefore, this can't be 6, because if it goes down, it's 6 down to 5, down to 4, which is not allowed. So this can't be 6, because that can't be 7. This could be 7 going up to 8, which would then go up to 9. So now we have a 6, 8, 6, 8 pair in row 5. Because of those two cells have to be specifically the digits 2, 6, and 8, that eliminates 6 and 8 from the rest of the cells. Because if you tried to have a 6 and 8 on that row, that would eliminate one of the possibilities for those two cells, and the only other possibility would then be the 8, right? So you can't have a 6 along row 5. We have now a 3, 5, 3, 5 pair in box 5, and this is called box 5 because of normal conventions that we have. So we number the boxes from the Western reading convention, which would be top to bottom and left to right. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is box 5, this is box 6, box 7, box 8, and box 9. So in box 5, we have a 3, 5, 3, 5 pair, which eliminates 3 and 5 from the rest of the box, similarly to how we eliminated 6 and 8 from the rest of row 5. Therefore, this cannot be 3 or 5, it must be a 6, which means this cannot be 6, which means this cannot be 5, because 5 can only be next to consecutive with 6 or 4, and both of those are gone. Okay. Let's see. If this is 5, what can it be? It cannot have a 3, so it would have to be 1 and 4, if that's the case. If this is a 7, what could this be? it would have to have either 1, 6 or 2, 5. Well, okay, cannot be. So if this is 7, this would have to be 5, and this would be 2, 3. So this would not be 2 and 5. It would have to be 1 and 6. So either way, this has to be a 1, right? So again, the logic was if this is 5, it could be 1, 4, 2, 3, but the 3 is not allowed because we know the 3 has to be one of these two cells. So it would have to be 1, 4. If this is 7, that forces this to be a 5. So therefore, this becomes 2 and 3 to add up to 5. Therefore, you cannot have a 2, 5 here. And you can't have a 3, 4 because the 3 is already taken. So it has to be 1, 6. Either way, there has to be a 1 in one of these two cells, which means this can't be 1. So this has to be a 9, which makes this an 8. Okay. Now we have a 5-length Renban here. We know where is the 7 in the box 2. It has to be on the Renban. So since we have a 7 and we don't have 8 and 9 possible, the only possibility for the Renban has to be 3 through 7, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because that is the only stuff that adds up to, that is consecutive without an 8 or 9. And we know the 7 has to be here because it can't be either of these two cells. So 7 has to be on the Renban. So this has to be 3 through 7. This can't be 4, 6, or 7, obviously. This can't be 3 or 4 because the rest of the Renban eliminates 3 and 4 from there. So this must be 2, which makes this a 3, which makes this 5 because it adds up. Therefore, this is 7, and therefore this has to be 1 and 6. And this can't be 6 because of the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the Renban. So therefore, this is 1, this is 6. This can't be 6 anymore, so this is 8, this is 9. This has to be 7. This can't be 3 anyways, and this has to be 6. Okay. These must be the digits 3, 5, 6, and 8, right? This cannot be 5 and 6, so this is the 3, 8 pair. Therefore, we have a 3, 8 pair in row 6, which eliminates 3 and 8 from the rest of the row. Therefore, this can't be 3 or 8. This is 5 or 6. The rest of box 4 must be 1 through 4. And that does work. Okay. The rest of this box must be 1, 2, 4, or 9. Well, 9 can never be on the arrow, as I said, part in a normal Sudoku. So one of these is 9, and this can't be 9 specifically because we have a 9 here. So where's the 9? It has to be here. So this is 9. And these have to be 1, 2, and 4. Now, 1, 2, and 4 can never... 2 of those digits can never add up to 8. Actually, all 3 of the digits can never add up to 8. Therefore, this can't be 8. This must be a 3, which means this must be 1 and 2. We have a 1, 2, 1, 2 pair in box 6, which eliminates 1 and 2 from the rest of the box. So this is 4, and this is 8. Okay. We now have 1, 2, and 3 in column 8. So the rest of the column cannot contain 1, 2, or 3. We know on a German whisper line, as I said, you alternate between lows and highs. So there must be one low between these two numbers, right? But we have 1, 2, and 3 already taken into account. So the only other low possible now in these two cells must be a 4. And 4 cannot be next to 2 unique digits on a German whisper line because it can only be next to 9. So this can't be 4. This one then has to be the 4. So that's 4. 4 can only be next to 9 on a German whispered line. So this is 9, which next must be next to a 1 or 2 because 3 and 4 are not available. And it must be next to a low. So this is 1 or 2. Well, we now have a 1, 2, 1, 2 pair also in column 7. So that eliminates 1 and 2 from the rest of the column. So what can the rest of the column be? It has to be 4, 8, and 9. Well, this can't be 4 or 9 because of this 4, 9 here. Therefore, that forces this to be 8, which means these has to be a 4, 9 pair here. This is consecutive. It cannot be 1 and 2 because that would eliminate all possibilities here. It cannot include the 3 or 4, so it could be 5, 6, or it could be 6, 7. Either way, it has to have a 6 with it, right? So this is 5 or 6, and it's 6 or 7. There cannot be a 6 along this. We now have a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 triplet or quintuplet in row 1, right? These have to be 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we know, first of all, 3 and 4 have to be somewhere along this line, so this can't be 3 or 4, right? This has to be a 6, so one of these is a 6. Anyways, we know the rest of the cells in row 1 cannot contain 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 because they have to be in the quintuplet. So what does that leave us with? It's 1, 2, and 9. So this is 1, 2, and 9. That means in the rest of box 1, you cannot have a 1, 2, or 9. What can this Renban be? You can't have a 6, you can't have 1, 2, or 9. It has to be 3, 4, and 5, right? If you have a 7 or 8 here, the problem is it can't have a 9, so you cannot go 7, 8, and 9 there. And you can't have a 6, so you can't even go down to 6, 7, 8. Therefore, we know this is 3, 4, 5. We have a 1, 2, 9 triplet in box 1. We have a 3, 4, 5 triplet in box 1. That leaves what? 7 and 8 for the rest of the cells. This can't be 8, therefore this must be 8, which makes this a 7. That means this can't be 7 here, which leaves us with the 5, 6, 5, 6 pair again, because in these 5 cells, where are the 3 and 4? It has to be here because it can't be these two. So this is 5 and 6, and 5 and 6. We have a 5, 6, 5, 6 pair in box 2, which eliminates 5 and 6 from the rest of the cells in box 2. So this can't be 5 or 6. This must be a 3. This can't be 5 or 3. So this is 4 and 7. This is 4 or 7. We have a 4, 7, 4, 7 pair in row 1, which eliminates 4 and 7 from the rest of the row. Therefore, this can't be 7. So this is 5 and 6 and 5 and 6. And this 5, 6, 5, 6 pair in row 2 eliminates 5 and 6 from the rest of the row, which means this can't be 5. Where is the 5 in box 1? It must be here. So this is 5. We have a 3, 4, 3, 4 pair in, well, okay, this couldn't be 3 or 4 anyways, so this would have to be 1 or 2. Because it cannot be 5 and 6 because of the 5, 6, 5, 6 pair here, or the 5, 6, 5, 6 pair here. So this must be 1 or 2. What does that leave this? This has to be a 7 then. Okay. This can no longer be 5, so it must be 6, which makes that a 5. This is either 1, 5 or 2, 4 adding up to 6, and it can't be 1, 5, therefore this is 2, 4. And this can't be 4 because of that 4, so this must be 2, which makes that a 4. These have to be 1 and 3, but this can't be 2, so this is 1, which makes that 2. The 1 makes that a 3, and that a 1. This can't be 1 anymore, and this can't be 2. This can't be 4, so that makes that 3, which makes that 4. This can no longer be 4 here. This has to be 5 through 8. We don't know what this is. We have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 triplet. Okay. A 1, 2, 3 triplet in row 7. Therefore, the rest of the row cannot contain 1, 2, or 3. Which means, where is the 3 in row 7? It has to be one of these two cells. Well, can 7 ever be next to a 1, 2, or 3? Or sorry, can 7 ever be next to a 3 on a German whisper line? No, because that's not 5 away. Therefore, we know specifically this has to be a 9. So this is 9, which is next to a 3. We're not sure what else is there. This can't be 9 here. This can't be anything less than 3. Because if it were less than 3, then this would not work. But this can't be 3 either, right? Because if this was less than 3, how does that work? You have two unique digits adding up to 2 or 1. That doesn't work, right? This digit, though, we know, has to be at least 3 because it can't be 1 or 2. Therefore, this sum has to sum up to at least 4 because this would be, this can't be 3. So we know this, okay, well, we know this is 3 then because we have a 1, 2, 1, 2 pair now in row 7, which eliminates 1 and 2 from the rest of the row. So that makes this a 3. This can't be 3, therefore this must be 1 and 2. Again, because this can't be 1 or 2 because you have two digits adding up to it. Therefore, that makes this a 5. This is either 1, 4 or 2 and 3, right? And this can't be 1 or 2, so this must be 1 or 2, which must be with 3 or 4. To add up to 5, what does this then have to be? This has to be a 5. So this is a 5. The 5 is on a Renban with 2 other digits. It cannot be 3 and 4 because that would eliminate all possibilities for this cell. It could be 4 and 6 to add up to be consecutive with 5, or it could be 6 and 7 to be consecutive with 5. Therefore, either way, we know the 6, not the 9. The 6 has to be one of these two cells, which means this can't be 5 or 6. This is 1 or 2. What do these digits have to be? It's 1, 7, 8, and 9. Well, 9 can never be on an arrow, as we know. 1 can never be on a circle part of an arrow with at least 2 digits. So this can't be 1. So either this is 7, but this doesn't add up to anything that adds up to 7. This could be 8, which adds up with 1 and 7 to 8. Or it's 9 with 1, 8, or 2, 7. So this is 7 or 8, and this is 8 or 9. This can't be 1 again because we have the 1, 2, 1, 2 pair in row 7. And it can't be 9 because of this 9. We now have a 7, 8, 7, 8 pair in column 2, which means 7 and 8 cannot be in the rest of the column. Therefore, this is 9, which makes this a 1, which makes this 2, which makes this 9. So therefore, this is 1. This has to be 1 and 8 adding up to 9. So this is 7, which makes this 8. This can no longer be 7 or 8, so this is 5 or 6. We have a 5, 6, 5, 6 pair in column 8. So that eliminates 5 and 6 from the rest of the column. This can't be 5 or 6. This can't be 9 because of that 9 here. So this is 4, which makes this 9. This now becomes 3, which means this has to be 2 to add up to 5. So this is 2, which makes that 1, which makes this 2. This can't be 8 anymore, so this must be 7. Which makes this 8. This can no longer be 5, 6, 7, so this has to be 4, 5, and 6. So this is 4, 6, and this is 4, 6. Where can the 7 be in box 8? It must be here. That's 7. These two digits add up to 7. So it's either 1 and 6 or it's 2 and 5, but we have a 2 already here, so this has to be 1 and 6. So this is 1, this is 6, this is 1, this is 2. This has to be a 5 because of this 6, and therefore that's 6. This can't be 7, so this must be 4, which makes that 7. This can't be 4, so this must be 6, and that must be 4. This can't be 6, so this must be 5, and that's 6. This can't be 3, so this is 5, and that's 3. And this is just normal Sudoku, and everything else here is normal Sudoku. Whereas a 2 in box 7, it has to be here, which forces this to be 3. That's 3 in the corner. We celebrate because we're almost done. And this is a 5. This has to be 4 here, and this must be a 6. And that's how you solve that. I don't know. This didn't feel like a very easy puzzle. You had to go through a lot of. I mean, it's nothing hard, obviously, but you did have to go through a lot of paths to figure out what could and could not be in certain cells, how restricted certain cells could be. I would consider this an easy level puzzle, but not a very easy one. But I hope you had a good time watching us learn how to Sudoku. And I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.